Hi everyone. I want to tell you or share with you a story about our world's most precious gem. Now some of you are probably picturing diamonds, rubies. I'm talking about a gem far, far more precious and far, far more impactful on the world. One of the most enormous and impactful gems there is. And you all know one or two or three or four. In fact, it's a woman. And I don't know if you've noticed, but women have changed quite a lot in recent years. There's quite a lot of cultural change going on for a woman, and no doubt that's impacting on men too. But I just want to go through some of the great characteristics about a woman. When a woman's truly, truly happy and sure about herself, can you think of any great characteristics that just shine out of her? If I can ask some of the gentlemen in the room first of all. Sparkly eyes. What's one of the best things a woman can do? Yeah, every time. Yeah, just smile and light up. What are the bad things about a woman? When a woman's not too happy with you. Again, the men will probably answer me far better. Nagging. Temper. They're mean. Very demanding, very controlling. And women either become very, very controlling or very, very meek, don't they, when they're not being themselves, when they're not sparkling and they're not shining. You know there's something probably not quite right. And usually what other people do in that instance is either back off or they fight with that woman, don't they? And probably one of the things to appreciate, like I've said, women have just so many things going on in their lives now, more than they used to have. And perhaps for a moment, let's reflect on how a woman's life has changed. I know I was brought up by a woman that worked full time, so I was taught this was normal. So I've grown up the same way. You work full out. And you try and be as good as the men, if not better, because they're telling you you've got to fight to be as great as them. Usually you then have your family as well, and you want to raise them as beautifully and as wonderfully as every other career woman there is on the planet. So that's quite a tough job. Your home, even more important to us all, that's got to have all the gizmos, all the gadgets, all the right colour schemes for when our friends come round, and the right cups, the right sauce. There's just so many more demands on a woman, it's unbelievable. Supermarket shopping, you name it. There are just so many things going on in this woman's mind. And one of the last thoughts that's going on in her mind is probably herself, which is why she's probably becoming a bit more demanding and a little bit more controlling and a little bit more nagging, or a little bit more quiet over the weekend when she's not quite happy. So women, an untapped resource. And isn't it a shame that the woman is starting to disappear and almost turn into a man? And men just don't know what to do with this, do they? They just have no clue. And I think what we need to ask is, what is missing in a woman's life? And I'm sure if I asked probably one or two of the ladies in the room, Tara, what's the one thing that you think you could do with more of in your life? Time? Would you agree, Joss? Just some time, not some new shoes. Not to be taken shopping or taken away for an expensive weekend. I'd actually just quite like some time away from my home, away from my children, away from my work and all the demands, and just some time to reflect on me and what it is I need in my life. And so many women are just, they've untapped their potential. And in their workplace, the culture has just got under our skin, and we're taught that we are fighters. But we're not fighters, men are fighters. Women are nurturers, they're gentle, they're caring. But no, the culture tells us now we must fight to be a woman. We've had other experiences. We've either been bullied, an awful lot of women have experienced either sexual abuse or attack, myself included, and it really, really turns you into a fighter because you believe you've got to keep your guard up to get through this life. And what you start to realise is that guard is the very thing that's keeping you from the life of joy that you could be experiencing. And it's keeping you from the sparkle and the smile that would actually help you float through your life rather than fighting with a machete, which is really what the men are very, very good at anyway, aren't they, really? Hand the knife back over to the man. I decided to take some time out for myself at the end of last year, and I went over to Los Angeles. And during the most beautiful 7 days, I reflected on my life. And I reflected on the lives of most of my female colleagues, friends, family members. And I realised that we were all exactly the same. We just didn't appreciate what we had in ourselves. And we didn't appreciate the sparkle that we were missing out on. So I flew home, and whilst I was on the plane, I wrote down the business plan for my new business, which is called Pure Me Time. And it's designed as a community for women, whereby, and I'll tell you this now, the more people I tell about it, the more amazing women come my way and just share that they think this is going to make such a difference in this country. We're going to be holding workshops, seminars, and beautiful weekends away where women just sparkle amongst themselves, helping them to go home and sparkle in their everyday life and stop all the fighting and stop all the fear and stop all the climbing the ladder and stop this competing with the men and just take some pure me time and to build that into their lives on a day-to-day basis, just to give themselves some space to think and to breathe so that they've got more to give to everyone else, and to be a better role model to all the young girls that are coming up through the ranks now who believe, they've had 2 generations of this. Let's teach them a new way, a more gentler way, and that the power of a woman is in her vulnerability. And I would ask you, before I go, to think of a woman, just at least one woman that you know in your life that deserves some time, and think of a plan that you can give her that time, whether it be an hour, a day, maybe a weekend, and give it to her. Can I ask you to do that over the next few days and see the difference it makes and how easy it is actually to make her happy? Thank you.